Wake up! Wake up! Up you wake! Up you wake! Welcome to Volume 2 of the Love Hart Channel, sponsored by Mr. Hart Jr. himself. Now before we slide into this motherfucking throat, please like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, I present to you Volume 2 of the Love Hart Channel. Enjoy the show!
Let me tell you the story of right hand, left hand. It's a tale of creation and destruction. Hart. It was with this hand he gave every ounce of himself. Love. These 5 fingers go straight to the cracks of the destructed. The right hand, the hand of love. The life of the artist is this. Static. One hand always fighting for the other hand. And when the heart is doing all it can, kicking much ass, and it looks like the right hand love can rest. But hold on, stop the presses, because when the heart breaks, when that motherfucker got no more to give, the right hand is coming back, reminding the nigga on why the fuck he started swinging in the first place. And when his heart is on the ropes, that's when love takes over. And when his heart heals, love gonna find a way to rise to the top. And if you got the heart, love will heal it every time. But if you don't have the heart,
let me tell you the story of right hand, left hand. It's a tale of good and evil. Hey,
bitch, bitch. Hart. It is with this hand that Nasir gave every ounce of himself. I'm on that, bitch. I'm on that. These 5 fingers go straight to the cracks of the destructed. The story of life is this: static. The life of an artist is this. While I was in undergrad, I worked with Spike Lee throughout my entire time there. So I want to do one that revisits the work that I photographed of him, but I want this take of the love-hate rings to be like the opening monologue into that episode.
Yeah.
I got something. You know what that something is? I'm gonna show you what that something is. Wow. That is fucking fire, bro. That is fire, nigga. Quit playing. Fight the power, nigga. So yeah, that's essentially where it's going. In terms of the vision, very, if you've seen Do the Right Thing, I want it to be kind of on the nose in that capacity of like, he's dead serious about this monologue. He means what he's saying. It feels very dramatic.
And I was gonna rewatch as well, just to like get it fresh in my head, so I know as I bring myself to what you wrote, it can make sense for me embodying it.
love gonna find a way to rise to the top. And if you got the heart, love will heal it every time.
I recently saw this tweet that was saying like, no one talks about how much storage you need as an artist and how much money it takes to invest in external hard drives for footage and files. And all these people started quoting it with like fucking money spreads of their hard drive. And I was like, that is so real. Like, I have so many hard drives. I have, hold on, I'm gonna do a money spread with mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I got 19 drives. So after I saw this tweet, I was like, it's so much shit. This started in 2018. So this is 8 years of work. 18, 19, 20, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8 years of work, baby. Yeah. I think for one, so much shit just sits on your drives. But I think two, it's so easy to forget and like overlook the journey towards being where you are, if that makes sense. When you are looking for the peak constantly, like when you're climbing the mountain, when you are trying to build a name for yourself, become a successful artist, put your work in front of people and keep growing, keep expanding. it's so easy to forget the stuff that like you've done over time to get to where you are because you're so focused on the future. You're so focused on what is ahead. But it's like, nigga, this is 8 years of excellence, baby. Like, for real. This is my archive go hard. And I really wanted to take some time to explore that because I think we live in a space in which things just move so quick. It's easy to forget work that an artist has done, especially photographers. Photographers, y'all scroll past our work. Y'all might bookmark it for a cute little, oh, I'm gonna reference this. And then how many people really go back to their bookmarks? So I'm finna wake it up. I'm finna dive into my archive. And I wanna start with my very first photography job. My first photography job paid in this industry was with none other than Spike Lee, which is crazy in hindsight. I don't think I understood how crazy that was because I was 19 years old.
Let's pan to Youngblood. Eric Hart, first year student, NYU Tiscali Arts Photography Department. Behind the camera.
I gotta paint the picture for real. It is 2019. This is my second year of undergrad at NYU. This is, you know what's so crazy about where the story and journey with Spike Lee begins? The very first day I got to my sophomore dorm, I'm not exaggerating, the very first day, and I swear, like, this was Carlisle, right around Union Square. I was putting up my vision board in my room with Ryan. I'm gonna text Ryan too. I'm gonna ask Ryan if you remember this. Literally the first day we moved in, I'm putting up my vision board and I get an email. Like I take a break from putting up my vision board and I get an email from Spike Lee. The email says, and of course, yes, I have it in a scrapbook. August 19th, 2019. Dear Eric, how are you? This is Spike Lee. Please give me a call at, he put his phone number, Peace and Love, Spike. So for me, like, because that's actually insane. So I'm like, what do you mean Spike Lee is reaching out to me? What about what? Like, you know, like, and for it to be my first day of sophomore year, I'm like, what is going on? This feels like, this don't even feel real. It doesn't even feel real. It still doesn't feel real. I didn't even believe it at first. I was like, man, what is going on? And then I get a text from the department head at NYU, Dr. Deborah Willis. And she's like, hey, Eric, call Spike Lee. I'm just like, what are y'all talking about? Like, why? Who? Like, y'all cannot be for real. So, long story short, I call Spike Lee on the phone. He does not answer. I think he calls me back immediately. I answer, of course. And I don't even remember what he said verbatim, but I remember him talking in his Spike Lee code. And I remember him being like, I need to meet you tomorrow. I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm free. Like, yeah, down whenever. Like, what do you need? When do you want me there? Like, I'm a kid in a candy store, bitch. I'm ready for whatever. So he's like, I need to meet you tomorrow. Bring your portfolio. And I'm like, okay, bet. Got that. Been had that. Da-da-da. I'm prepared. And he was like, but make it physical. I don't want to see no digital. I need to see your physical portfolio. I want to see prints. I had nothing. Okay. I had nothing. At that point in time, I'm 19. Everything's digital. So I didn't have a physical portfolio prepared. So my entire day before meeting Spike Lee, August 19th, 2019 becomes the day that I am figuring out how to get a physical portfolio printed immediately. Now, if you've ever been to Union Square, I don't know if it's still there because the world changes so drastically, so quickly, but there is a Staples right there on Union Square. So I went to that Staples immediately with my bitch RJ. Yo, RJ was there too. I remember I told Ryan, and I'm curious, I'm literally just curious if you remember this or not. The very first day we were there, you walked in and I was like saying how talked to Spike Lee and you just kind of dapped me up. You was just like, that's congrats, bro. And then you start setting up.
No, I most definitely remember that, bro. Like,
You're
I remember it's crazy for me to hear. One, I mean, it's not crazy for you to think that I might not remember it, but it is crazy for me to hear that you thought that it came across as I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And I just started setting up like, nah, because my memory of that day is me and my parents coming in. You were there, but you were on the phone. And then, so we had packed some of my stuff, but we weren't fully, like, hadn't fully brought everything up from the car yet. And you get off the phone and you're like, bruh, I just got off the phone with Spike Lee. And I was like, huh, nigga? Like, in my head, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? That's crazy. Because you said it as, like, you said, sorry, I couldn't help you bring stuff up. I was on the phone with Spike Lee. And I was like, I remember that. One, because I was like, I didn't expect you to help at all. So like the fact that you were apologetic about it and then you gave the reason why and that being the reason, it was like, yeah, nigga, talk to Spike Lee. Like, the fuck, that's crazy.
So we scheduled a meeting first thing in the morning. So of course I'm there bright and early. And let me tell you, this is how stupid and just naive, not even stupid, but how just like I was such a child and so naive and just like bubbly eyed because while I wore a full suit to meet Spike Lee, growing up in the South, I mean, I think this is a universal American idea, but in the South, they push this. So when you're going to like a quote unquote job interview, you're supposed to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So anytime I've ever had a job interview, I've worn a suit. So when I went to meet Spike Lee, I wore a suit, like a blazer, black pants. Did I wear a button up to meet him? But the one thing that was weird that I wore, and I remember this, I didn't have a haircut. I remember specifically being frustrated that I didn't have a haircut to meet Spike Lee. And because I had spent the day that he reached out all day getting my portfolio printed, I didn't have time to get a haircut. So I wore this little head wrap. I wore this little head wrap that I used to wear all the time whenever I had no haircut. Girl, that shit was so gay. But anyway, I met Spike Lee. I brought him the portfolio. The portfolio was in this book form. He looked at all my work from making in my first year at NYU, which is not great work. Yeah, I can't even lie to y'all. I wish I could see that portfolio that Spike Lee has because I know that work is not great. Even though like he was drawn to it and he was like complimenting me, telling me I was talented, like wow, like really like I could tell he was invested in what I was making. But I just know that that work is not great. Like if I was to look at that work today, then maybe I will because I'm going through the drives. But I know that shit weak. I know that shit is weak. I really wish I could see that portfolio. And it's only one of one. Spike Lee has it, that's so crazy. My first portfolio with work from high school to undergrad is in Spike Lee's photo book collection. And it's only one that exists. I wish I had made a copy. I should have made multiple copies, but if only one can exist and it belongs to Spike Lee, I'm not mad. So anyway, we sit down, we talk, and then he starts to tell me about this docu-series project that he's working on. And he needs a photographer for this project. So this is what essentially became the HBO Epicenter's documentary or docu-series that he did that premiered on HBO Max. That project initially was supposed to be, and it still is, like I think it just grew because of all that was happening in the world. When you think about the pandemic and you think about the Black Lives Matter movement and all that was going on during 2020, the project just became more than what it initially was. But initially, when starting out working on that project, it was a recreation of his 9/11 journey. So when 9/11 happened, Spike Lee was in California and all the planes were down. So he had to take Amtrak from California to Chicago, Chicago to New York in order to get back to New York with his family. And he wanted to recreate that trip for the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And he wanted a photographer to be there to document that journey. So at 19 years old, I spent a week being on Amtrak with Spike Lee, traveling across the United States from California to Chicago, Chicago to New York. The trip was an entire week. And I was there with my camera. That's insane. That's fucking crazy. That was my first job as a photographer. That's really wild. That is really wild. I don't think I've ever sat with that. Like, I think things, I think when I look back at the experiences I've had, I get really emotional because it's like, God put you here to do this. And I know that. I don't care what no man got to say about it. I don't care. I don't believe in jinxing anything speaking on. I believe you're supposed to sing out the blessings that God gives you to the world. And I think God has blessed me truthfully. Like, that's a blessing. That is such a blessing. Like, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, film directors of all time, Dr. Deborah Willis, the department chair at NYU, was asked by Spike Lee for a photographer for this, and she selected me to do it. And I just thank God for that. I thank God for her. I thank God for Spike Lee. Not the sirens, not 12. We having a sentimental moment in 12. Here 12 go. So I have all my drives here to my side. I'm about to start going through them. This is my first drive, 2018 to 2020. This is how you know my ass was not shooting in RAW. We're going to look at the Spike Lee work on here, but I'm very curious as to what else is on here. This is how unorganized I am. This should just say my edits. What is that? Oh shit, wait. Not my edits being the Spike Lee work. Okay. So let's see. So here's how the trip worked. He wanted to recreate the trip exactly. So we flew to California. And then we went to the Amtrak station. When we got to the Amtrak station, that's when my job started. So once we got to the Amtrak station, that was day one. This is one of my favorite shots. This is Spike next to this huge train. You see how small he looks next to this massive train. And he really liked this shot. Like, pretty much every day he would kind of ask me, like, let me see what you shot. Let me see what you did. The first day I showed him this, he was like, wow, that's a great shot. He loved this one. This is when it started. September 11, 2019. These were the ones, bro. This was the one. This setup, this was the sky room. No shade. No shade, no shade, no shade, no shade. If I wanted to, I could be a documentary photographer. Now we're getting to day 2. Okay. Oh my God. That light. Oh. This king. This king. He's so cool. Spike Lee so damn cool, boy. The hat with the hand, like, yeah. He know it too. That's the thing about Spike. Spike know he cool. Wow. Damn. I haven't seen this. This is not one that I was drawn to because honestly and truly, like, if you've seen my work, you know that I'm drawn to people. And of course, when Spike Lee is in the image, I'm like, oh, okay, let me push the ones that have Spike in it. But this is an amazing shot. One of my regrets about this trip specifically, it would have been beautiful to mark where these images were taken in the US. That's one of I regret that. I don't know what this landscape is. I don't know where we were. We had to be closer to California because this is day 2. Moments after this image, I fell asleep in Spike Lee face. I'm finna sound so unprofessional, my God. Mind you, this is my first project. You have to remember, this is an around-the-clock job. We're on the train at all times, which means we're documenting at all times because there's always something to shoot. Everything is a thing. So you don't get a lot of rest. I remember we went into Spike Lee's room. The two camera guys are over here filming him kind of like having dialogue with the camera. And I'm on the side with my camera. My camera has a shutter that makes noise. So I can't shoot stills while they're doing the conversation with Spike. Spike tells me, shoot video. So I'm like, okay, bet. I put my little Canon in video mode. I press record. And now, mind you, I'm a still photographer. I don't have no stabilizer. I don't have no gimbal. I don't have nothing stabilizing this shot. I know Spike Lee is not using this footage. So I'm just sitting there holding my camera as Spike Lee talking. We on a train, camera shaking. I just remember being in that space, holding that camera, and just being like, I feel like I fell asleep in Spike Lee's face, which is not good. Later that day, he said something like, you gotta get your endurance up, buddy, or something like that. Something like, kind of like, he didn't make me feel bad about it. It was cool, like, and even the next day, he gave us a break after that. So I think he could tell that it was wearing on me, and he actually gave me a break. He gave all of us a break. And we had like an hour of just like, you can take a nap, you can get some downtime, whatever you need. And then just meet me back in the Sky Room. That's one of the pivotal moments I remember about that trip. When I got back from my break, I went back a little bit early to the Sky Room. I didn't take a full hour. I maybe took like 45 minutes. Went back to the Sky Room just to be there before the crew and everybody got there. And Spike was there. And I don't think Spike moved, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't remember if he moved or not, but what I do remember is when I got back to the Sky Room, he was there. And I sat next to him and I asked him, like, did you get a break? Did you get a time to relax or anything? He was like, nah, I read some scripts. I just caught up on some work. Like, he worked. The one thing I will say about Spike Lee, and one thing that I really took away from being in his atmosphere at any point in time, Spike Lee works the fuck hard. Like, Spike Lee don't give a fuck. That nigga be locked in. Like, it's like he's constantly working. When we're at dinner, he's taking photos with his little Leica camera. When we have some downtime, he's thinking about other shots. He's directing you for what's to come next. He is fixing set. Like, I remember on the Social Impact shoot, Spike DDB shoot, the set was like, some part of the set was like wonky. Like maybe a piece of fabric was under itself or something like that. And he said something about fixing it. And I think the set designer was like, it's not in the shot. He was like, it would take 2 seconds to fix, like, and went up and fixed it himself. And it's just stuff like that that's just kind of like, duh. Like, of course, like, duh. If something needs to be fixed, fix it. But I just think that little moment speaks to how hard he works. Like, it's just like, do the work. Spike Lee does the work. Spike Lee does the fucking work. And you just like, when you in his atmosphere, you have to respect it. That might have been my favorite shoot with Spike Lee because that when Naomi Campbell was there. And I specifically remember when we all heard, like, it was like, okay, well, she's not on the thing, but Naomi's coming. And like, you could hear it in the room. And Spike was like, when Naomi get here, don't shoot. He told me not to shoot. Baby, I'll like, come on now. Naomi Campbell in the room and I'm not supposed to shoot. Come on now. Hard-headed, 19 years old, hungry, starstruck. You have to respect it. Like, that is a hard-working man. And I think the thing I respect about it even more is like, he's proven himself. Like, he don't have to be as intense and as locked in as he is, but he is, and it means something to him. And you can tell he's sensitive about his shit. So sensitive that he will yell at you. I got yelled at one time by Spike Lee. This was the Coin Cloud commercial. He yelled at me because he looked at me and I wasn't shooting. Essentially, like, we had been there for 4 to 5 hours already. Like, this was not like the start of the day. This was like middle of the day. And once again, I'm on set. I'm supposed to be doing stills, which I was doing stills. I had taken a lot of fucking images. And I don't know. Like, it was just one moment he walked past me. I looked at him. He looked at me. He looked at my camera. He was like, show, what are you doing? I walked off. Because, listen, I respect everybody. And Spike Lee has the right to yell on his set. But I just kind of walked off because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be yelled at. I've been shooting. I'm fragile, Mr. Lee. No, but I love Spike Lee. I worked with Spike Lee damn near up until the time I graduated from NYU. I'm so thankful that at his level of success, he still looks for young talent. And like that really, really means something because it gave someone like me the opportunity to have a career for real, for real. So I have to always give thanks to Spike Lee, bow down to Spike Lee, and just show appreciation because he really gave me my first opportunity. Him and Dr. Deborah Willis, I have to give credit to them at all times for starting my career and giving me the opportunity to showcase my talents. Yeah. What else? What else? Is there anything else? I feel like I'm missing things. I feel like I could go on and on about my experiences because Spike is so interesting. He's such an interesting person. Like, people I've seen online, people will be like, Spike Lee mean. Spike Lee ain't mean. Spike Lee just somebody uncle. You know what I mean? Like, he gives you like black uncle. He's a black man of a certain era. And it's not mean, he's stern. And I kind of respect it. Like, he did, like, he a boss. That nigga, that legend, that icon, that GOAT is a boss. And I respect it. I respect it all day of the week. Oh, I'm gonna say this too about Spike Lee. Spike paid quickly. Spike, 40 Acres and a Mule, they don't do all that net 30, baby. Spike, your money be there. Let me tell you something about Spike Lee, baby. Spike Lee do not do that net 30 shit. Spike Lee pay you in a week or two, okay? Every time I work with Spike Lee, that check would come very quickly, which is one of my favorite things about, shout out to that. Be more like Spike Lee, okay?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our time. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Volume 2. The Love Hart Channel will be live every Friday this year as long as Mr. Eric Hart Jr. himself don't get pregnant. We'll see what happens. Until next time.